Guten Tag, I'm here to talk to you about Einstok. I don't have any tech expertise, so I'm afraid you're going to have to give that one a breather for the moment. But I can talk about beer, because I do work for a company called Love Drinks, and craft is very much at the focus of what Love Drinks does. We look after craft-produced or family-owned brands, and Einstok approached us to look after their beer in the UK, so we're their distributor here. And you guys have tried the white ale, but we also have a pale ale and a toasted porter, which are available year-round, and a seasonal doppelbock as well. So craft beer, it's an interesting question to talk about. I think that there are four elements to making something something that's an organic product from craft, and that's the resources that you have, also the processes that you choose to make, and then also the processes that you choose not to make. And then the fourth one is the story that you own. So you prescribe your own success. You don't let the world of commerce come in and change what you believe to be success. And that's what crafting really is. And these guys, the founders of Einstok, are Americans, and they look very much at who was drinking craft beer in the US. And these are the kind of people that they were looking at. And they're really talking about scaling craft. They're not really looking at growing a huge-scale operation in their brewery. They're looking at who is drinking craft beer and why are they drinking it and how can we appeal to them. So really kind of looking at market penetration for them rather than, oh, I'm coming loose. Okay, I'm back. Market penetration, rather than looking at large-scale brewing, they're looking at keeping it nice and small and tight with these kind of guys. This is what I was talking about when owning your own story and creating your own margins for success. Einstok was created by these guys who are from the US, Dave, Jack, and Bernard. And they were really fanatical about craft beer, and they were fanatical about Iceland. So that's what they wanted their story to be. They wanted to create a craft beer from Iceland. And they created these three styles that were going to be available year-round. They've only decided to create three styles. They don't want to grow in terms of that. And when they went over to Iceland, especially to look for a water source there, and they actually found a brewery there that was only brewing to 40% capacity, and they blended their knowledge of the water with their knowledge of the craft beer, and they created the beer there. So here's our brewery. I don't know if you can see that, but the little two axes up here. Iceland actually had a prohibition from 1915 to 1989. So a lot of people in Iceland were very used to drinking like 0.03% beer or non-alcoholic beer. And this brewery had been producing those beers since 1939. It's the northernmost brewery in the world, we think, unless there are some that we don't know about. Put disclaimer on there. So it's the northernmost brewery in the world, and what they have available to them is this water source, which is in the Hildrefell Mountains, which are these kind of crinkly bits at the top of Iceland here. And that's what makes the kind of the brewing process there work as well as it does. So that's our mountain range. And the Hildrefell Mountains, they are volcanic, so the water flows through the rocks and comes up through a spring. So it's actually mineralized. We're one of the only people, only brewers in the world, not to change our water or treat our water in any way before we start the brewing process. And that goes back to what I was saying about craft really owning the story, but it's also about your resources. If we started to overtake our resources there, then our whole identity would fall apart. So we're looking really very much at just keeping those three main lines and also not impinging too much on the resources that we have. So that's why we're only trading in 3 countries. Iceland, they are now very grateful to have their own craft beer after drinking that horrible straw stuff. They went from drinking basically from drinking non-alcoholic beer to drinking American kind of lagers. And so they were very grateful to have their own craft beer. And then in the UK, and then California, but also some areas in the East Coast as well, so New York, Boston, Philadelphia. So yeah, so only 4 to 6 styles per year. At the moment, we've kept at 4. We are looking at using some Icelandic berries and looking at doing a blueberry fruit number, but that's to come. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the white ale. The other beers are available now. You can get them in Harvey Nichols, or you can get them online. So I do advocate you going out and trying them. My particular favourite is the porter. But thank you very much for having us here, and thank you very much for inviting me to your dinner last night. It was delicious. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Emily.